Today we're hiking the most reviewed trail in all of Las Vegas, and that's Calico Tanks hike. We're gonna tell you everything you need to know about this trail and what makes it so popular, so come hang out and hike with us. Today's hike is a short one at just over 2 miles round trip and only about 400 feet of elevation gain. The main attraction is a large waterhole kind of pond at the top, but the entire hike is gorgeous, taking you through Red Rock's picturesque white and red sandstone. We found tadpoles, tiny toads, and full-grown toads, but those didn't compare to the strange things we found at the top. We're going to tell you more about each one later on.
This trail is located inside of Red Rock Canyon's Scenic Drive Loop. There's a small cost for admission, and we'll talk more about the cost and what times you can hike here at the end of the video.
To get to the trailhead for the Calico Tanks hike, you're going to pass one larger and one smaller parking lot. The third parking lot is the sandstone quarry. That's the one you're looking for.
Now there's multiple trailheads off this one parking lot, so depending on what time you get here, there may be a ton of cars, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be on the same trail.
Even though this is a pretty short and chill hike, still make sure to have at least 2 liters of water. We had hats and sunglasses, and we would highly recommend some solid, grippy hiking shoes. Expect to not have cell phone service, and there were restrooms at the trailhead, but the day we went, they were pretty smelly.
To start the hike, you're going to head north along the trail. It's pretty wide and easy to see, and shortly you're going to notice and want to check out these massive square blocks of sandstone. They weigh about 20,000 pounds apiece. These are historic remnants of a quarry that operated here between 1905 and 1912, and there's a sign with a little bit of history about it.
There was way more greenery than we expected. It was kind of a trip. You're walking through this gravelly and sandy trail, and everywhere you look, there are these really vibrant green bushes, trees, and flowers.
About 0.4 miles into the trail, you'll see a sign that has been completely baked white by the sun. There's a small trail right next to the sign that's going to take you to a historic Native American agave roasting pit. This is where the Native Americans would take the agave plant, chop all the leaves off, and then you get an agave heart, which almost looks like a desert pineapple. They would then roast it for 3 days at a time just to be able to eat it.
The sand starts to get a little bit deeper, which is really cool, and then you look around and you realize all these trees and bushes have adapted to be able to survive in conditions like this. It's amazing.
For such a simple hike so far, there's so many different terrain changes. So it's really cool. This is neat. Amazing.
As the trail starts to wind through the canyon, there's plenty of trail markers like these to make sure that you're headed in the right direction. We're about 0.8 miles in now, and we're starting to enter the actual canyon part of the hike. Man, look at the sandstone.
The colors, textures, and formations of the rock are crazy. Everywhere you look, it's mind-boggling because it's always something a little bit different.
About a mile in, and we're actually starting to climb up on and over the red rocks. It's pretty fucking incredible. The first sign of some water. Oh, there's tadpoles. All of those are all tadpoles. All those little black dots. Is that a little frog? There's a little frog.
4 days later, we came back and the small waterhole was gone along with all the tadpoles. We did find what looked like 40 to 50 tiny toads hiding under a rock nearby. We see the grown versions of these toads later in this video. Oh, there you go.
Once you start getting a little higher up in the canyon, there's some incredible photo opportunities. You have this amazing backdrop of the sandstone valley below.
Just like, whoa.
We're a little bit over a mile in. Had a couple spots of scrambling, but nothing too crazy. And I have to imagine we're kind of close to the top now. Holy crap, the views in here, the views are incredible. We're gonna catch sunset. Oh man. Oh, look at that, more steps, so kind. to the Calico Tanks right as the sun started to set. It was so beautiful. It did get a tad windy, but we were the only ones up here.
We found what we thought were more tadpoles, but when we looked a little closer, they definitely weren't. They almost looked like alien creatures from the depths of the sea.
We found out these creepy little things are called tadpole shrimps, which kind of look like a smaller version of the horseshoe crab. They live in fresh water, and what's insane about these three-eyed creatures is after the female tadpole gives birth, their eggs can survive for years in the sand or dried mud when there isn't water, and when the water comes back, the eggs hatch and the cycle starts again.
We also found some clam shrimp and fairy shrimp swimming in the tank.
Already, the entire hike has been pretty amazing, but we're really starting to understand why this is the most reviewed trail in all of Las Vegas. The Calico Tanks, there's something special about a large pool of water on top of red rock, even in summer.
These were originally called 𝗀𝗛𝗏s, which basically means earth jar or water hole in Spanish. This area has been carved into the rock by water and heavy wind over thousands of years. It really is something special.
After we explored around a bit more, we hiked a little higher up and got some amazing views of the Las Vegas Strip, Red Rock Visitor Center, and Calico Basin. If you're doing this trail, make sure to hike up to see the view. Now the hike out begins at 7:30. Red Rock closes at 8 o'clock, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. We gotta find our way out of here. There's all bats around here, so cool.
As we were heading out, we found one more really interesting nocturnal desert animal. Hopping through the night, we found some red-spotted toads. These little guys spend their days in sandy holes and they come out to eat at night.
Relatively harmless to humans, they do have something called buphotoxins that can be released if an animal bites down on it. Just don't put these toads in your mouth.
We made it back to the truck shortly after 8. Red Rock Scenic Loop opens every day at 6 a.m., but they change their closing time to match up with sunset. Summer it's open till 8, but winter they close as early as 5. Make sure to check their website before going.
Entrance fees to get in are $15 per day, but Sam and I renewed our America the Beautiful Pass. It's awesome. It's unlimited access to all national parks for a year, and it costs $80. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're excited to see you in the next one.